Simplified Khaos, episode 53.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Khaos.
Hey, wonderful friends. Welcome to Simplified Khaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my husband and co-host, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
All right, we're hitting up 2020 at the stroke of midnight tonight because this is coming out on Tuesday,
Yes.
New Year's Eve.
Crazy 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a great 2019. It's been a fun year sharing some really interesting and very awesome episodes with you all. And we are looking forward to another fun-filled year of episodes. But, Jilly, what are we talking about today? Enough about the past. What are we talking about today?
So today, I guess it's officially our 1-year anniversary of starting Simplified Khaos.
Happy anniversary, honey.
And we're just kind of talking about simple living 1 year later, what our life looks like, what have we changed, and I guess what are some things we've noticed that I guess have made a big impact, from podcasting, because I think not only hopefully that you guys are benefiting from these episodes, but I think we're learning a lot about ourselves through this process too. So it's really cool.
Yeah. So, if you haven't listened to us very long, or if you haven't listened to our very first episode, which was entitled Simple Living, we definitely encourage you to go back and check that one out. It's very raw. The audio is a little not what I would accept as good quality, but I mean, it's still great. It's definitely listenable, but we've definitely upped our audio quality game since then. So
I think it sounds pretty good.
It was really interesting hearing and listening to that podcast over again. And, I feel like we did a pretty decent job for our first time. And it was also really cool to see our progress over the year and from where we started and where we are today.
And hearing Lucille.
Yeah. And Lucille was in our
yeah.
first few podcasts too. So definitely want to check that out if you haven't already. But before we actually dive into simple living a year later, Jilly, what are we grateful for today?
I am grateful for Lucille, our daughter.
I would always grateful for that. And
Excuse
there was
me.
a nice little burp that we might... No, we're not editing that out. No.
It's this delicious drink. It's just a little
Yeah.
bubbly. That dry cider is just fantastic. As we were thinking about, what to reflect on and what we were going to talk about for this episode, I kept thinking damn, the reason we started this podcast was because of her.
Yeah.
She was the catalyst for all of the changes we've made. So we wouldn't be talking to anybody live
And in person.
or in person, in the future if it wasn't for Lucille trying to conceive her. I mean, everything about her, and she is the reason why we're here today.
Yeah. No, that's a great little gratitude segment there for you, and I second that wholeheartedly. We've learned a lot of crazy, valuable, awesome lessons from her over the last year or so. Mm-hmm. And like you said, she was a big influence on why we did this. So good job, honey. I really like that one. So for me, I am grateful just for Christmas, the holidays, whatever you want to call it, because the last 48 hours have been freaking terrific. So we're recording this on December 26th. So yesterday was Christmas, the day before was New Year's, and we just had an amazing 48 hours. We started Christmas Eve with some friends and family. We have a little open house that we do from 4, and we went until 12:30 in the morning. I don't know, it was kind of crazy, but we had some people come in and out. Some people stayed, for a little bit. Some people stayed the whole night. But it was just great hanging out with people, catching up with some friends that, we may not have seen for a little bit, or, there's a lot of changes in some of our friends' lives coming up. So it was, good hanging out with them. And then obviously Christmas Day, we had time with the family. We went to your side and then my side, and we spent the night at my parents' house. Lucille was 100% the center of attention the entire day. It must have been exhausting for her, but she lived up to the hype. She was quite the entertainer for the entire time. So just overall, I love this time of year, and more importantly, just spending time with the people that matter most to us.
Yes, I think in 2 words to describe the holidays, and I think I put this on Instagram as well. It's just slow and sacred.
Yeah.
Like just enjoying
Oh, I
everything
thought it
about
said
it.
slow and scared. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah, you're
Slow and
definitely.
sacred.
I was not scared this holiday season. No, I think our holiday season has looked a lot different than it did in years past, and I am loving the slowness of our holidays and just really soaking in family and friends at our own pace and just doing it the way that makes sense to us. And yeah, we're just very fortunate to have amazing family nearby and friends, and it was just a great. I agree, a great 48 hours.
Yeah, yeah. So shout out to everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday as well. Hope you have a great New Year's. But as we count down to this ball drop in Jilly, let's talk about simple living a year later.
Yes,
It's been a
so
whole year.
and I'm not gonna lie, we're like we have to listen to this episode because we almost forgot what we said,
Yeah,
and we listened to it on the way back from Delaware
yeah.
together, and it was kind of cool, like hearing what we sounded like our first episode. I'm like, damn, we didn't sound that bad.
No.
We were just doing it the best we could, and I think we did pretty well.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
to get the gist of it, and if you want to, listen to that episode in full, we pretty much told our listeners our why and what simple living meant to us. Mm-hmm. And in the first episode, we gave our definition and what it means to us. And I still stand by what we said in our original episode. I still stand by that it is a lifestyle and it's helping us live with more intention, and it's helping us slow down to realize what's truly important. And it's living every day and every moment with as much purpose as possible. And I also mentioned that it's about questioning what comes into your life. And I know that seems like jam-packed definition, but
Right.
we are truly doing all of those things. And it sounds like a lot, but I feel like we have such great momentum that it just is coming second nature to us. It's like another habit.
Yeah.
Because we've done these small micro changes here every day and changing or tweaking and adding in rituals or adding in routines or making our own rules and what makes sense to us. And now it's become like our everyday now. It's our new norm. And I think that's what we're also realizing, that we don't want the way we're living to be different or weird. We want to make it the norm. We are getting so many great benefits from it still and are so freaking happy. It's like we want everyone to know what this is like if they don't, if they feel overwhelmed, if they feel stressed, if they feel really unaligned to what's truly making them happy. We really encourage and are trying to motivate the hell out of anyone out there that this type of living is so possible. And we're just trying to preach to everyone about it.
Yeah. And, after we listened to our podcast on our way back today, Jill and I started talking about it. It's like, okay, so, a lot for us hasn't changed. There's been like a lot of micro changes along the year, but the one thing that's never going to change was our reason why we chose this kind of lifestyle. We talked about it a lot in our first episode. You talked about your infertility journey. I talked about the garage being the bane of my existence. And the garage still isn't in a place where I want it to be. However, it's really sparked a lot of change in what we've done around the house. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from listening to that episode and just kind of evaluating where we're at right now is that I really feel like us doing this podcast has really opened our minds, because it really causes us to, I didn't want to say forces, and that was what I kind of said earlier, is that it forced us to talk about these things because we're trying to think of different topics about different aspects of our lives that we can share with people. But it got us talking and discussing topics and things that we might not have talked about otherwise in our normal conversation if we weren't doing this podcast. So, I know you probably feel the same way, but I'm really grateful that we have this platform that we can share our discussions with a larger audience. Because our goal has really been from the very first episode is to open people's minds to a new way of thinking and really help foster discussions in their lives to kind of evaluate things and are they happy with the way things are going? And if you're not happy, why is that? And really trying to uncover those things. And that's why it's called Simplified Chaos. There is chaos every day in our lives. And, if we can do just one thing to simplify it, make things a little bit easier, it really helps, as far as, being happy. So that's really, I think, the biggest thing I took away from it is, I'm happy that we're able to share our ideas, and really, hopefully you all are taking the ideas that we're sharing and making it your own. It doesn't necessarily have to be the way that we do it, but we're hopefully getting you thinking and starting to question things, and really like evaluating and putting a plan of action together to make things more intentional in your life.
And I hope that also our awesome listeners out there are getting the theme is that you don't have to settle for a life that's overwhelming or feeling rushed or just feeling really unenthusiastic. Like, you should be happy as hell doing what you're doing, even when you're struggling. Like, you should be enjoying the struggle. And if you're not, if there's so many aspects in your life that is just making you not want to wake up in the morning, like, you need to take action and change it. And it's so possible. And I know that I have one, like, the biggest struggle with me was just trying to get pregnant. And I know some other people have probably had many other different types of struggles, but it's like that was that pivotal moment that like changed everything. And I just hope that whatever, you guys are going through, whatever struggle it is, no matter how big or small it is, like, there is so much growth in those struggles. And that's Simplified Chaos, because we love the chaos of life. I think that's what makes life exciting and fun.
Yeah.
And that's where the real fucking growth happens, is when you simplify the hell out of the problem to make it work for you and to change or pivot your life so that you're growing from it and you're getting better from it and not bitter from it. So that's also like, I just hope that people know that like we're done settling for anything less than happy. Like, we want to be thriving and excited about waking up and spending time with Lucille and each other. And we're not settling, and we're going to keep podcasting about these small changes we're continuing to make because our life is changing so much. What we talked about in the past is going to be different than we talk about next year because Lucille's getting older.
Right.
Her skills and developments are changing, as well as our lives are going to be changing. If we're staying the same, like, there's something wrong. Like, we're changing a little bit each day and growing older and wiser each day. So our topics are not going to be the same coming up in 2020. And I think I'm really excited for, and I kind of put this in here, I'm really enthusiastic about next year, is that we're going to be sharing other perspectives instead of just our own.
Right.
So we're still going to share the small changes that we're making to simplify the hell out of life to be happier. But we're also going to be sharing different people and couples that are doing life a different way, but they are happy as hell too. So that way you're not just hearing our voices, you're hearing other voices out there who have different situations, different jobs, different perspectives, may have kids, may not have kids. So I'm so enthusiastic about that for 2020.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go back and check out episode 49 where we talked about our plans for 2020, and I share the same excitement as you. We already had our first interview, which will be coming out very shortly. Like, it was very exciting, and it's really going to, I think, take us to a whole new level. I think once we got through that interview, Jill and I really are just like this is the direction of our podcast, and really are just very excited to share it with you all. So I'm enthused. I am jacked for 2020, and can't wait to share some more great content with you guys.
Yes, everything you said. The energy that beams off me when I think about like what's coming. Like, I'm excited today, but I'm really, really so motivated for 2020 and just what this podcast has kind of lend itself to, and I guess what's unfolding for us is pretty exciting. And I kind of put this in here in my notes about, I think this year was all about cleansing our physical environment. And I think if anyone else is out there that it's decluttering and letting go of things that don't bring value to yourself anymore, I think what I've realized is that once we've cleansed our physical environment and our calendar to leave space, I'm finding that I have so much more space in my head for just empathy and understanding and seeing life in different ways and just being kinder and more patient. And my whole mindset has shifted so much through this process. It's like, it's not just decluttering your home. It's really just loving life for what you have and just that sense of gratitude. And I don't even know how to put it in words and wrap it in a bow and give it to you guys, but the shift in my head has been so transformative. Like, I am not the same person I was when we first podcasted, and I am grateful for having this platform to share what I've learned, because I'm hoping that someone's like, yes, I want that transformation to happen. I want to see that change, because it's been a slow process, but damn, those small changes just have added up to such big results. Not only physically, like, we share what our life looks like in photos on Instagram, but really it's like inside, I feel so much calmer and happier than I ever have before.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, and I'm lucky I have you here as a partner, because there are times where I kind of, I might slip back and say something that I probably normally wouldn't say now, but, I kind of catch myself, and you kind of remind me. It's like, oh, you never know how that person's feeling or what their day's like if I get cut off and I have a little overreaction, which I tend to do. But, I'm trying to do the same thing as you. I'm trying to be more empathetic. I'm trying to be less judgmental, because, there's no reason for that. There's no call for that, where everyone's got their own thing going on, and who am I to judge another person? I don't want anybody judging me or you or our family or the way that we do things, even though we know that happens, but I don't care. I'm over that part of it, and I need to do the same thing with other people, and I need to make sure that I'm being less judgmental, more open-minded, and if I happen to have a conversation with that person, ask questions about what's going on, and really just try to dive in and understand the person and the people that we're bringing into our life, who they are, what they're about, what their values are. If their values align to us, we want to hang out with you and grow up and grow old together, all that kinds of crazy stuff.
And I think that's great that you say that out loud, because we are human, we aren't perfect, and we're always going to be in process. I think once we stop thinking that we don't have anything else to learn or to grow, like, that's when life doesn't become exciting anymore. Life becomes dull when there's no more good problems to, like, go through,
right?
At least in my opinion. And I agree. I feel like I don't even want to waste that energy being negative or judgmental, because it's energy that's not going to help me. It's not aligning to my values, number one, and it's not helping me to become the person I want. It's just wasted energy. It's like, I want to save all my energy for all the great grand stuff that we can do together as a family, or the adventures we go on, or just anything that I want to do to help myself grow and to, take care of me. So I see the world in a different mind, and it's all because of the way we're living.
Yeah.
So I think that it first started with the physical stuff, and then it's slowly seeping in, and like my mental space is just, there's so much more clarity and direction to where I want to go in life. And I'm not apologetic about it anymore. And there's no indecisiveness really of where I'm going. Like, of course, I don't know what the future holds for us in 10 years, but I know where I'm headed, and there's no question about it now, because we've done everything we possibly can to get really clear on what we value and what we want. And it's all because, I mean, this podcast is really helping us speak out what our direction is into words. Whereas before, I probably would just hold it in, like, this is what I want. But I think speaking it out loud or writing it down, that's where the real magic happens, because you have to take action once you say it out loud. It's like you're holding yourself accountable. And this podcast is holding us accountable
100%.
For practicing what we're preaching. Like, we can't talk about this stuff and then not be doing it, especially the teacher in me. Like, I have to be a model. I can't just say, do this, and if I'm not living it, like, this is our truth, this is what we're going through, we're going to share all the goods, the bad, and the uglies, because that is what is so freaking cool about just living. It's just having the positives and the negatives, and like what you're doing to go through it and what you're learning from it. And I'm rambling now, but yes.
No, I feel like we both have been able to, truly, like, express how we feel. And this is a great podcast, just looking back from where we were a year ago and where we're at now, and just how friggin' happy are we? I mean, it's great. I mean, do we have our challenges? Sure, we have our challenges.
Every
we
day.
have our good days, we have our bad days, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're happy together. We have a beautiful daughter that is just growing up to be an amazing young lady.
You called her a young lady.
She is. I mean,
she's still so tiny.
But we have to be a role model for her. And, she's first and foremost. If we're going to talk this and say certain things, we have to model it for her, and we have to model it for everybody else as well. But I mean, she's the most important thing in the world to me, and I want to make sure that she understands that, she can be the happiest person in life. She doesn't have to go with the norm. She should question us. She should question other people, and, she's not going to do exactly what we say or anything like that. And I would not want her to do that either. I want her to be her own person, make her own decisions, but it's us giving her the power to do that. It's us giving her the power to be creative. And that's really I think our biggest gift to our kids is just giving them that freedom to express themselves freely without judgment, guide them when they ask for it. And again, I think the most important thing is just letting them be creative. And I think that's really the key to a successful child growing up. I'm rambling again.
Is that the key to you should write a book, honey. The successful key.
I'm just guessing right now. It could be completely wrong a year from now.
I mean, just having a kid is an experiment in itself. So, but yeah, I mean, we're doing the best we can. And I love that we're amateurs. Like, we were amateurs when we started, but I still feel like an amateur, and I'm okay with that mindset now. Like, yeah. I love feeling like a beginner because I'm always willing to learn and change or do something different. And I did kind of write down the big changes in all caps that have accumulated since making all of our small changes.
Let's go through it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
We are out of debt.
We are. The only debt we have is our mortgage on our house, but we do not owe any car payments. We pay our credit cards off every month. We made a plan. We had some debt that as a result of the house needing repairs. We had cars. We had I did have student loans back in the day, but we just had things that needed to get paid off, and we made a plan and we got it done.
We're traveling more.
We are traveling much more. And with a baby, we've already taken Lucille to Europe, and we're getting ready to go on another trip with her. We'll reveal that a little bit later on.
Yes, we will.
And we have plans for her to go on several trips with us this year. And really, like, we're trying to take advantage before she becomes 2 years old, because that's when we have to start paying for a plane ticket for her. But we want her to go where we're going and see what we're seeing. And I know she's 1.5, 2 years old, but you know what? You have to start them young. I want this to be a norm for her.
There's never going to be a perfect moment. You just got to do it.
Exactly.
We are more creative than we've ever been. At least I feel like that's me.
I think you've inspired me to be much more creative on this end. And obviously this podcast, again, I don't want to say the word forces, but for a lack of a better word, it forces, the creative energy and the creative juices to flow and really come up with different ways to deliver our material. And we're going to be a lot more creative this year because we have some special things in the works that
sure do.
Will hopefully come to fruition in the next couple months. Sooner than later is what we're hoping for. But it's going to force us to be even more creative, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I feel like, at least me, I'm more energized to grow and meet other like-minded people than I ever have before. And I'm not usually, you are more the extrovert. I'm what I consider an introvert. I really enjoy a lot of alone time, and I kind of fuel myself back up when I have alone time. But I am really excited to meet new people and have that discomfort in just trying something new and doing something that scares me a little bit. But I'm seeing the light from doing things that are a little uncomfortable, and I'm growing. Yes, and
helps you grow.
I'm learning to just be okay with it and really like, let's do this. It's scary as hell, and I'm really nervous, but let's do it because I know on the other side it's going to be so much more beneficial to me.
Absolutely. No, and that's one of the things that we want to do again this year is really connect with other like-minded people. We want to connect with you. We want to connect with our audience, and we're thinking of creative ways to possibly do that as well.
Oh, it's happening in 2020.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely happening.
Yes, it is.
We're trying to iron out those details. So yeah, we're promising a lot here. This is very a promise-loaded episode, but we promise to deliver on our promises.
I also feel like I'm more aware of the distractions in my life that were stealing time away from me more than ever. Like things that I thought were my norm and that I had to do. I'm very crystal clear that TV 100%, like I don't need it.
Yeah, folks, we've canceled Netflix, and that was way back in episode 23. So it's been, at least a half a year. We've gone more than 6 months without Netflix, and we're not going crazy. We don't miss it. Like, was it tough for maybe the first week? A little bit, but not really.
No, I think I was just over it. And then I've had so many books that I've been wanting to read, and now it's like I'm making the time for it to happen.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to fill the space anymore. So I find myself, creating different ideas or projects that I want to work on, or just hanging out with Lucille. Like TV is just so not in my world anymore. And I am so okay with it never coming back. Like, don't get me wrong. I can sit down and watch a movie, but really it doesn't really intrigue me anymore. I'm not tempted by it. We have a beautiful TV in our living room, but I don't have the desire to turn it on anymore because I get so much more joy and meaning and amazing energy just from creating or playing with Lucille. So
especially playing with Lucille. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah, so I am just more aware than ever of the distractions that were stealing my time versus like giving it back to me. So
No, same thing. I second that.
And I think some of the other stuff I've said before, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but I feel like I just have more confidence in myself.
I definitely see that.
I feel like because I know more of what I want and what I value, I find that it's just making me confident in all aspects, and confidence in the way I carry myself, confidence in the way I make decisions, confidence in the way that when people, maybe are putting out negative vibes for me, I'm like, it's all right. Like, I hear you, but it's not, you can't get past this force field anymore. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm really confident in myself now, where the confidence that I've never had before.
And it's funny, like, you talk about that, and we were talking about, and we'll talk about this, is like, how do we answer certain questions that people ask us that is like pretty much to the point, but says, exactly how we feel. And we practice that. Like, we practice it.
You want to give an example?
So we were talking about, people getting excited about, oh, is Lucille excited to open up, all her gifts this Christmas? And I was kind of thrown off, and I was not prepared to answer that question because we didn't really get her anything this year. We did the banana thing we wrapped up.
We wrapped a banana, and she was so freaking happy.
Yeah, but I mean, opening presents for her was kind of, she didn't really know what that was all about. We tried to show her opening the presents that like her grandparents got her and some other folks. And, she was cool with it. I mean, she kind of got the hang of it, but like, for me, it was just like, how do I answer that question? I'm like, oh yeah, we're really excited. But when I came and I talked to you about it, it's just like, well, here's what we probably should say the next time that comes up. And
that should be an interesting. We should talk about that in an episode because I feel like it's very loaded. Just the word choice you use and how you speak about how you're living. Trying to say it in a way that doesn't sound condescending or like my way's the best way. It's just like a very positive way, just saying like, yeah, this is what we're doing and we're happy as hell, and that's it. So that's probably, I think I would like to, if someone podcasted about that, the verbiage and the vocabulary and how to word things, because I think words are everything, and your tone and your, the expressions are even on your face, on how you say things, like it's everything. So communicating about our life, I think we're getting better at.
Yes.
We do still have those moments where we're like, how do I answer that? Like you just said, but we're practicing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, another question we get, and this is an episode that we'll be doing in the near future, is, when we talk about our co-living situation, it's just not something that's normal in today's society, whatever you want to call it. But, we do get that question, and, there are people who ask us, or give us a strange look when we say that. And I'm just like, we love it. That's everything we want to be. It gives us actually a lot more freedom to do more things that we want to do. And we will talk about that in a future episode. But I mean, it's been freaking fantastic.
Excuse me. I keep burping. This
Damn.
delicious
It's
cider.
the bubbly.
It's no bee's knees, but it's delicious.
Hell yeah. I'll have to get the rosé one the next time.
Yes. And just overall, I don't want to go back.
No, there's no going back.
There's no going
There's
back.
no going back. It's
like I can't go back to the way.
We've seen so many benefits, and we feel
living.
so amazing right now that there's just no way that we'll fall back. It's funny. When this is way back when we did like the decluttering episode or even the wardrobe episode, and we talked about Marie Kondo, and I know I haven't brought her up in a while, but I mean, she's like, whenever I go through somebody and they go through my method, they never go back. Well, I'm still doing that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm still folding my clothes the way that she taught me, and I can't go back to the old way of doing it because it's so efficient and it's made my life a lot easier. So like, I feel the same way about simple living. It's like, I can't go back. Like, it's made my life less chaotic. It's made me more confident in myself. It's made me more creative. Like, how could I go back? I can't.
You can't. I agree. So, yeah, and I guess just to end our conversation, instead of putting our New Year's resolutions for 2020 for the podcast, because if you heard our previous episode, we think they're bullshit. I just kind of labeled this as things we're enthusiastic about for next year. Conversations.
Yes.
Connections.
Very much.
Traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Growing.
Growth.
And goal setting.
100%. Which we are doing right now, and can't wait. We got these nifty little new notebooks to help us set our goals.
So pumped. And there's people that want to know, like, how we're goal setting, what's happening, and I'm excited to like practice it and see what happens because I am so like the energy coming out of me right now just thinking about goal setting, and I was never a goal setter like ever, and now I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this planner to write weekly goals and to crush them and to keep going. I'm like, I was never that way ever. But now
and we're going to hold each other accountable. We both have our own little goal notebooks, and we call it the 3 Ps: our personal goals, our professional goals, and our podcast goals. The 3 Ps. So we're making sure that everything's written down. Again, if you don't write it down, you don't see it, then you forget about it.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure that,
I added another P to it. It's 4 Ps.
4 Ps.
Partner
goals.
Like you and me.
I get it. Partner? What do you mean partner goals?
Howdy, partner.
All right, so scratch the 3 Ps. We're going with 4 Ps.
But we'll talk about that in another episode.
Yes, we will. But no, that was great, Jilly. That sums it up really well. So, any resources for our lovely listeners?
Our resources are just go back and listen to some oldies, some old episodes to see what's all the little tiny things.
For the next 52 days, you have to listen to the 52 previous episodes. That is your I'm kidding.
Should we? I guess we'll be in the motion. You had an awesome idea that we were going to share our top 5 favorite episodes.
Yes. So starting tomorrow, well, this is going to be a couple days ago, actually, because it's going to be December 27th when we start, is we are going to be sharing on Instagram. So make sure you go back and check our Instagram or our Facebook or our Twitter, because those will all be posts. But check out and see what our top 5 episodes that we've done in the last year.
Yeah,
it's going to be a little fun.
Nick had a great idea to kind of reflect on what our top 5 favorite episodes were, and we kind of worked together to figure out like what we thought they were and why. So we're pumped to share that on Instagram.
So yeah, today being the 31st, we will be doing our number 1 episode today because we're leading up to the new year. So make sure go back a couple days before you check out today's, because today will be the top episode that we felt was our either favorite, most fun. We'll give you guys a little more taste when we do our post, but it should be fun nonetheless.
Yes.
All right, Jilly, how about that quote of the day?
The quote of the day is by Joseph B. Wirthlin.
Wirthlin.
I didn't Google who Joseph he was, but
well, he must have a good quote then.
I think he does.
All right.
Sometimes we make the process more complicated than we need to. We will never make a journey of 1,000 miles by fretting about how long it will take or how hard it will be. We make the journey by taking each day step by step and then repeating it again and again until we reach our destination.
Word.
But really, I don't think there's a destination, but I love...
Destination unknown.
Destination unknown.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's 100% because you can't do it all in one day. No. It takes time. It takes practice. What did you say in the very first episode, Jilly?
Practice makes progress.
There you go. I love it. Taking it back 52 weeks ago. Love it. All right. So take action challenge. I think this is probably self-explanatory, but Jilly, go ahead. Drop it.
Enjoy the process of whatever changes you're making.
Boom.
Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process.
You know who else likes the process?
What?
Gary Vee.
Or
he
who?
always talks about the process.
Does he?
And that's what he enjoys most.
To me, the process is where the exciting shit happens.
Yes.
I think sometimes we feel so rushed to get to the end result. It's like, no, you're missing the whole point. Yeah. Like, enjoy the fucking journey.
That's his thing. He's like, it's the process. He's like, I don't give a shit about anything else. He's like, I love the process. And that's what makes you successful, is like, you have to enjoy the process.
That's where the hard work comes in.
It's the hard part. It's the thing that's going to challenge you. It's the thing that's going to make you who you are.
Yep.
Like, it's the process, baby.
You don't usually say baby,
I
so
don't.
it's just weird.
I just had to say it. It's the process, baby. All right, folks. Well, again, we love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year. And we will talk to you again next week.
See you later, guys.
We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us or want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.